This is the pinnacle of competitive freeriding. A giant maze, no place for hesitation, no room for mistakes. Riders must overcome their fears and inhibitions to conquer this infamous mountain, the Bec de Ros, the most feared and respected on the Freeride World Tour. This is the final challenge of the season. This is Xtreme Verbier 2018. Hello and welcome to the biggest and most prestigious contest in freeriding, the Verbier Xtreme. We are stood at the foot of what is unquestionably the most intimidating venue in sport. Look at that monster. Luckily, the man stood next to me has at least one strand of this mountain in his DNA. It's the four-time Xtreme winner, Xavier Delarue.
Good morning, Ed.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. You know this mountain better than anyone. What is it that makes it so unique?
Well, this giant pyramid here is like much bigger than any other face, any competition face in the world. It's much steeper, much more exposed. It's got so many options, and it's basically the queen of all the faces in the world. Yeah.
Okay, there's a crew of the world's best snowboarders and skiers stood on top of this mountain. You've been competing here for 16 years. What are they feeling right now?
Well, I think all the riders have been standing at the top yesterday, waiting, being ready the whole day, kind of having that tension. And then they got to go to the top to see the view from up there and kind of feel a bit the tension and stuff. And I'm sure that it's been such a long day yesterday that today they're so eager to get into it. The conditions are perfect. So I think they are like, dogs that have been in a cage and that we're about to release.
Well, you said it yesterday that conditions have settled down today as well. Yeah. So Steve Klassen has just forerun the face, and he said it's the best conditions he's ever seen the Bec in. So it's shaping up to be an absolute classic here today. If you're not sure exactly where we are, let's take a look on our satellite locator. We can zoom in from outer space. Switzerland, slap bang in the middle of Western Europe, and we're coming down to the southwestern corner. Just over the hill from the Rhone Valley, you'll find this beautiful south-facing bowl. Verbier sits on a ledge, and then out in the southeast corner, towering over the whole resort, is this beautiful mountain, the Bec de Ros. Coming up over the next 2 hours, we're going to kick off with the men's snowboarding final, then we're going to have the men's skiing final. Zav and I are going to be talking you through all of it. You can join in the conversation using the hashtag RedBullTV or hashtag DropIn for the Freeride World Tour. Now, the tour has taken a while to get to this point, 4 events to be precise. This is how the season's played out. Kicking Horse hosted the first 2 rounds of the tour, as the planned stop in Hakuba, Japan couldn't deliver clear skies for long enough to hold a professional freeride contest. Local rider Logan Peyote won the Canada event, stomping a huge cliff. In the snowboard, Davey Baird claimed his first Freeride World Tour victory. Ivan Malikov took top spot in the rescheduled Japan event with a high-risk, high-reward run. Jonathan Penfield made the most of fresh tracks with a playful line to win the snowboard. Next stop, the famous Valnor Arcalis in Andorra, where the Swedish skier Christopher Turdell convinced with a bold line choice and a combination of very well measured drops and jumps, a well-deserved first place for him. In the snowboard category, the American Sami Lubke marked his return to full strength post-injury with a win, showcasing excellent control and style throughout his line. The penultimate stop of the tour in Austria's Fieberbrunn was action-packed and offered perfect conditions for the riders. Frenchman Mikel Bimbos cleared his risky line with incredible speed, so the judges elevated him to the top spot. Gigi Ruff took his maiden win on the tour in the last round before Verbier with his trademark style, and he now has the chance to take the overall win in the men's snowboard category. Well, as you've just seen, no shortage of drama on the Freeride World Tour, as is usual. Zav, you've been watching it all. What have you made of it?
Well, I think the special thing this year is that normally you would have all the skiers being so strong that it would be really hard to differentiate them before the Verbier Xtreme. So that would be the battle for the title here. But this year, Christopher Turdle has been crushing it. He's been sending big lines all season long, and he's got the title already. So he's just on the back seat up there with a bit of an injured knee, and he's not with us. So yeah, there's 7 guys that can still take the 2nd and 3rd place, and they're all really strong. It's impossible, to be honest, to claim who's going to win.
The fact that Turdell's not riding almost elevates the title here. On the other side, though, we're going to kick off with the men's snowboarding. It's the opposite of the skiing, isn't it?
Yeah, the opposite, because it's 4 guys, and whoever wins today will win the title. So yeah, the race is on.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the contenders in the men's snowboarding.
Bec de Ross is definitely the ultimate place to decide the world champion, you know. All of the world champions, they should have to conquer the Bec, I think. It's quite amazing.
Awesome face, separates the boys from the men. It's like the quintessential face in free riding. There's so much history on it.
The top 3 riders, Gigi, Verstein, and myself, if any one of us wins it, we win the title. Yeah, it's definitely a little intense.
Sammy has done awfully good here in Bec de Ross, and I think he is a contender, and I wonder what his line choice is going to be. In freeriding, you want to ride your own line and find fresh tracks, and that's the part of where I see myself. I want to ride where nobody has ridden, but I'm definitely not going to go to the steep. So Sammy might be able to do that because he knows the mountain best.
I'm kind of sitting back behind in points right now. Had an injury early season. It kind of kept me off the first 2 contests. So yeah, kind of just going to go for the winning line here. Just not hold back. You know, it's the Bec, it's the last contest of the year.
People are definitely going to be going all out. You might even see some new lines go down on the Bec de Ross. The face looks a lot different this year, so just going to try to be fast and fluid with a couple of big airs, maybe a spin or a backy, but it all kind of depends on how I feel at the top.
Bec de Ross, I did not really want it to do at the beginning. Now seeing it and getting my home studies done, I feel like I've become more familiar with it, and I think I can, you know, plan out the section. It's just a long run. That's what I'm afraid of.
With all the riders being so close in points, I think it's gonna hopefully produce a good show. You know, the riders are gonna want to throw down.
No shortage of talent in the men's snowboard field, but one man that we didn't mention there is the current Tour standings leader, Thomas Freeride. But he's got there without actually winning an event. He's done it with consistency, hasn't he?
Yeah, Thomas has been really playful the whole season, doing a lot of tricks here everywhere, so showing a lot of playfulness from the Tour. But now we are going on a face that is much bigger than the rest of the faces from the season, with a lot steeper, a lot more rocks, so it's going to be a very different style. So I don't know what he's going to be able to do. I don't know if the consistency and that playfulness is going to pay, because you need speed here.
And we've got 2 riders who've never ridden this face before, in Elias Elhart, the guy who came in as the wild card in Fieberbrunn, and Gigi Ruff.
Yeah, it's quite a highlight from this season, like Gigi Ruff being on the Tour. He's so famous for his video part, and Elias is as well. Elias just showing up here on the big Bec de Ross. So I think that must be really tough for them, because they've got a lot of expectations, and even though they've got a ton of experience, they're experienced for Alaska, for soft snow, for this kind of terrain, and not really for, you know, riding rocks, because that's what it's all about here.
Okay, you talked about this face. We're going to take a closer look at it now. We've got a brilliant graphic that shows us, first of all, the basic dimensions of the face. You can see just shy of 3,300 metres at the peak, 2,600 where Zav and I are. So 600 metres vertical, biggest vertical drop we see. It is a pure north aspect, so the snow stays in perfect condition, but it's the gradient, Zav. That average 40 degrees is so steep.
Yeah, it's really steep, and it's gradually like less and less steep from the top. So when you're at the top, basically the first triangle that we see in black is really that section where you're not allowed to fall. Basically, it's all the accesses into the lines, and then gradually it all gets less and less steep, so you can open the throttle and jump bigger and bigger jumps.
I want to put that in perspective, though. Where you saw that green bit there is the same steepness as the steepest black run you'll ride anywhere in Europe. But this is the angle you want to look at. This one gives you an incredible perspective of what the riders see from the peak.
Yeah, I love that angle because it describes completely, you know, the feeling you have when you're standing at the top. You just pretty much see the bottom and then a few wide bumps everywhere, and you kind of have to know which one is your jump and find your way through there.
Well, it is an absolute maze. The one thing that we've got to talk about, though, that's exceptional, the mountain doesn't change in the essence of the rocks, but the snow does, and this year has been an incredible season.
Yeah, like this year there's been really consistent snow all the time. The back was looking amazing, like I've never seen it before 2 weeks ago, and then it got ripped by a big northeast storm. So there was all the rocks that came out, and then like little by little there's been little layers of snow that came in, and then 2 nights ago there's been these 20 centimeters of really light fresh snow. So it's really promising, I think. Yeah.
Okay, it's starting to get very, very close to go time. So I'm going to put you on the spot now. Rather than ask you exactly who you want to see win, what do you want to see from the winner?
Well, I think I would like to see some big turns and some speed, and of course a few tricks, but I think I want to see the basic. You know, this is a big mountain face, and I want to see some real hardcore big mountain riding, and I think Sammy has got that.
Well, he definitely showcased that last year, didn't he? He absolutely tore this face to pieces.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, in my mind, he's above everyone else on that terrain. He's got the experience. He's shown that he's a real big mountain rider. And yeah, he's got the speed, the tricks, the commitment, the confidence. He's got it all, I think.
Okay, we are just seconds away from getting the first snowboarders down the Bec de Ros. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, you'll be with our commentators, Adam Gendel and Martin McFly Winkler. Join us for the running of the 2018 Verbier Xtreme.
Hello, good morning and welcome back to Verbier, and more importantly the Bec de Ros, the venue for the Xtreme Verbier and the final of the Freeride World Tour 2018. I'm Adam Gendel, and joining me in the commentary booth is the... You are not live. And joining me in the commentary booth is the Oracle, the man who's been on every stop so far of the tour, is Mr. Martin McFly Winkler. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, and it's so good to see the Bec in these conditions.
Well,
we're going to have a show on it today.
I think we're ready to go. Look, we've got men in the start gate. There is the current ranking. Thomas Furstein in first place with 8,360 points. Gigi Ruff, 7,735. And Davy Baird, 7,445. The top three could all win the freeride overall world title if they win today. Sami Lubke could also be world champion if he's first place, but it would mean Gigi Ruff and Thomas Verstein not being second place. I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look at the start list. Elias Eldhard from Germany starting us off, followed by three of our favourites, Davy Bird, Sami Lubke and Gigi Ruff hot on his heels.
And then we have Thomas Feuerstein in 6th starting position, and he will decide the title today.
Okay, Elias from Germany in the start gate. More of a video part rider.
Oh yeah, he has been showing his skills on a lot of video parts, especially at the Pirates lately, with Gigi Ruff, a good friend of his, and it is his second Freeride World Tour competition after his very well executed Fieberbrunn event just 2 weeks ago.
Look at that little hug from him in the start gate. I was hanging out with him yesterday. I mean, let's talk about the wait yesterday was horrific for all these guys. The weather came in and they were just hanging out.
But there's actually no time to talk about the wait yesterday. He is already on course. Elias Eldhard on course.
30 years old, very experienced backcountry freestyle rider. Never ridden the Bec de Ros before. Okay, what area is he going into?
So he's heading on the backside of it and coming in to a very obvious cliff that we've seen some frequent, like over the last years. We call it the rainy cliff. He's going for it. Yes, he's opening it up a little bit to the side. You can see the tracks from the ski cutting. It's not easy to navigate there and then to find a good landing spot. You have to actually send it. Then he comes over the shoulder into the dogleg couloir, very famous section on the Bec de Ros.
The snow looks pretty stable in there. We were expecting a bit of slough, weren't we? But it looks a little bit like it's holding a little firmly than we thought. Lovely little line. He's got a good bit of flow down here. He's picking up speed now.
Another nice jump in there.
Drop. I think he missed the grab.
As you said, yeah, it's a first indication of what the snow is going to be like for all the riders today, and it's less fluffy as yesterday. We've been...
Backside 360, he put it down beautifully. Go on, Elias. He's got to be stoked with that as the first man down. Getting into a bit more of a technical area.
And will it be a double?
Lovely little ollie.
Beautiful
control. And that is how you start. And a little bit of a nose butter at the bottom. That is how you do the first run.
You see, he is happy. Happy with the snow and happy with his run. That was a textbook premiere on the Bec de Ros for Elias Eldhard.
Well, you've got to be over the moon with that. Yesterday, he had a very big, nervous smile on his face during the morning. And he looks like a man who's relieved and pretty stoked with that.
Oh, yeah, and he is allowed to be. Here, the rainy cliff taken on the side. Ooh, nearly got caught up on those traverse tracks from the ski cutting. And then here, he opens it up in the couloir, in the dogleg couloir. We fortunately don't see the 360 on top, but here the finishing move down at the bottom in perfect light.
It was all about the 360, really, wasn't it? I mean, you can see the track from here. He went pretty big on that.
Yeah.
Landed perfectly. I don't think he got a grab in there, so the judges might be looking at that. Okay, Martin, explain the graphic on screen now. This is kind of a preempt of what the judges might be thinking about that run, isn't it?
You're right. It's an indication that the head judge gives us on what they have seen. Now they're putting it down the details in points, and we will see the score soon of Elias Eldhard. But these bars, they give us a little bit of an indication on the judging criteria that we have.
Well, he's winning. No surprise there.
That's already a great score, I must say, and well deserved, with a 360 and a well executed cliff at the bottom and the top, with 87 points something.
87 points. That is good. That is laying down the gauntlet, if ever I've seen it. All right. Davy Bed, what must he be thinking? I mean, he probably didn't really see what went down there at all, so he's got to just kind of stick to his line that he's picked. The Alaskan, who's already got one win under his belt this season. He knows a win here will make him world champion. He said it himself in the VT earlier. You kind of need to conquer the Bec de Ros. A win here is kind of a rite of passage, and almost says you deserve to be world champion. So I know he wants to win. He's going to come out guns blazing and go full bore.
He does. He's
ready.
Motivated. The local from Alaska, Homer. You would guess he was riding mountains like this in his childhood, but it was not the case. He was not as fortunate to have heli in front of his door, although the mountains were there. Alaska is the place to be, of course, to go big mountain riding, and the Bec de Ros is the European equivalent to Alaska, I would say. And he's starting in the very, very technical, very steep section of the dogleg. The very top part is close to 45 average and close to 50 in some points.
I was going to say, he's looking like he's kind of trying to pick his way into something.
That's a gem of a line.
Is this going to be a case of picking his spot and then unleashing down the face?
And please, guys, don't be mistaken at home. We only see a little fragment of the face. Underneath him is a lot of exposure. That's why he cannot open up the throttle, and he should not. He's heading into the central couloir from the dogleg.
Basically, where he entered there is not where you want to be falling over, is it?
No.
You need to stay on your feet or you are tumbling over a lot of rocks. Okay, Davey heading into his first decent-sized drop. Caught the landing perfectly, and another one, little double.
Making it a double! We have not seen that one in years.
Slight little waggle in the air. He won't be happy with that, but, you know, he put it down and he's still flying, heading into a bottom.
Very technical line. I hope he gets some kind of a trick in there, then he would be such a complete... But he's going for the full committed big mountain line. Another drop at the bottom, and he's happy with that. That's such a lot of commitment. You have to know that this middle section where he was, yeah, you could see on screen more or less cruising, but that is a heartbeat of 200 to cruise there, because knowing that you have an exposure or a no fall zone underneath, you have sheer rocks, as you can see here. Maybe if I can, yeah, point it out.
Well, to sum that up, Martin, I mean, the difference between those two lines, Elias was a lot more freestyle orientated. He had a backside 3 in there. He had a few more cliffs in there. Davey kind of picked very well in through a technical spot at the top and then just went guns blazing down a very steep bit of the face, which is going to impress the judges more, would you say?
That's going to be a very tricky one, and it's going to indicate what they're looking for today. I don't want to call it now. This entry is so tricky. And then the highlight definitely was taking the air on the skier's right side of the rider's right side of the Gilles Voriol cliff and making it a double. Like, I personally haven't seen it yet. I missed the first 15 or the first 10 years.
Second place for Davey.
Second place.
84.33. He knows he needed the win to be a guaranteed world champion today, so really...
Elias Elhad could be the spoiler today.
He could spoil everyone's fun, who knows, on the first run of the day. All right, well, this man, all eyes on him, last year's overall freeride world champion, Sami Lubke, last year's winner here at the Verbier Xtreme as well. He had an absolutely unbelievable run. If you get time, go to the freerideworldtour.com website and check out his run. But I was speaking to him yesterday when he had his binoculars out, checking out his line, and he said he wants to step it up this year. So let's see. I believe he's going to go down the central chute as well.
It is Xavier's favorite of today, and oh yes,
come on, Sammy.
Sam is heading skiers, riders left to the very, very steep section of the venue, and I'm gonna be, yeah, here we see the drone. Hopefully we're gonna see some beautiful images of that little flying device in the air. Here we have it.
So after those first two
have
runs,
a look how tight that little chute is.
Oh, but where's he going?
Underneath you have 600 meters of close to vertical drop.
He's really picking his way in. This is why he was spending so much time scoping this out yesterday.
He's heading into the central couloir, passing some of the security staff, the guides, ski dudes.
Following a track from one of the forerunners by the looks of it. We've checked it out.
Yeah, and also the photographers had to make their way over to the central couloir where the best images are taken. And this is the crucial part of the venue.
He's literally
the central couloir is where boys become men.
Here he goes. Foot on the accelerator. Looks a little bit out of control. First little drop there, and he's pointing it Hold it, Sammy. Here we go.
He's so fast. Look
He's
at him on the
ridiculously
hillside.
fast already. He's just got to keep his legs.
It's not so easy to ride as it seems. Going
That's a
over the
big
Gilles Verbier, big one, perfectly stomped. Oh, I'm excited. This could be one of the winning runs today for sure.
Slightly smaller drop there, but because he knows he's going into that double.
Exactly, hell speed, all fall line from entering the the central couloir. I cannot.
Sammy Lukey, he was literally holding on down that, wasn't he? I mean, the steepness at the top is insane. He had to pick his way through a lot of rocks just to get there. And when he probably got there, he thought, it's probably steeper than I actually thought. But he held on.
Oh, he held on. Look at that. That is the crucial part. Here, he had to be straight, not to get caught on the rocks. And then, luckily, he had some time to recover, but it took some time. And here, the big drop, the crucial part, is the Gilles Verbier cliff, executed perfectly. And he stayed in the fall line. It was actually... It was I would say, Xavier Delarue line. He will correct me maybe if I'm wrong, but he will love that. Whew.
He's got to be happy with that.
Oh,
surely.
He's got to be happy, definitely. And look at the score.
First place, Sammy, there you go, dude. 93.33. That is absolutely unbelievable. Well, you probably wonder what the feeling is when you get to the bottom of that run. Luckily, we've got our man at the bottom of the beck, Ed Lee, who is talking with Sammy Lukey.
Yeah. Figured to try a new line out this year, somewhere different. Snow's a little bumpy in the center. Got going a little fast. A little faster than I wanted to, but so stoked to make it down in one piece.
Controlled the speed out of the Varrold cliff beautifully.
Yeah, it was a little flatter than I thought it was going to be. Somehow put it down and on my feet, so I'm stoked.
Nervous right now though. First place, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Sammy looked like a very relieved and happy man there. I mean, just to get down that thing, you've got to be happy, but to do it in that kind of style with that pace is unbelievable. So, yeah, first place for him. Elias still in second. Davey is pushed down to third place, which means at the moment, Sammy is not only on for the win today, but he could win the whole tour.
Yeah, but it's deciding about the next three riders. It is Gigi Ruf next up, and then two more riders to go until Thomas Feuerstein. And that will be the deciding rider if Sammy can take not only the win today, but also the overall title.
Okay, Gigi Ruf, the Austrian. If you know anything about snowboarding or follow snowboarding for the past 20 years, you will know that this man is an absolute legend, especially with freestyle and backcountry freestyle, really. So he's going to have to pull something out massive to take down Sammy.
And as we know him, we know he is capable of doing so. Got a little stuck on that one, on the traverse. There was no traverse. He was doing the first track in there. I hope the judges will consider that. A little bit of hesitation, but he's going for a 360.
Oh my goodness! Frontside 360, Indy, that was massive. He did revert on the landing, which was a massive shame, but that was so big. He stayed on his feet, so it's going to be so interesting to see how the judges see that.
That was huge, and he's going into a new zone. We haven't seen that a lot.
Oh,
he gets hooked up on that one. It's a very wind affected, as we can see. His board is not digging deep into the snow. It was way deeper yesterday. The wind must have had an effect on this one, on this part of the face. As you can see, he's a little bit in trouble here, but keeping it together. And he was afraid of exactly that, what happened. A lot of wind pushing the spray up in his face, and he's in the white room for quite some seconds, which obviously puts you off.
That is so unlucky. If he'd have put that front three down, that would have been, you know, one of the greatest things we've ever seen on the Beck, in my opinion. And then I think once he reverted, and a revert is basically when you spin around and you turn switch and you lose your flow. I think that really knocked him off.
But he's not done yet. This will be a beautiful double that we've seen from Xavier Delarue in the past. and sticking it beautifully. What an end of the run for Gigi, but unfortunately the very middle part, he got hooked up on a rock, and he's not going to be super happy with that for sure.
Good work, Gigi. Unlucky, my friend. Well, let's have a look at this then. Are we going to see the front side three? There it goes. Look at the indie, little tweak of the front leg, and there's the revert. I don't even know how he stayed on his feet at all, to be honest. I thought he may have caught a toe edge there, the speed he was going. And then this is where he slightly got caught on a few little snaggly rocks, which cost him his flow, and I think by then he knew it was a fun run after that. Yeah, there you can see the prediction from the judges. The control is pretty
He's not in the
low.
finish yet.
He's not even made it down, he's stuck.
He probably thought he has to go straight to the Audi viewing area.
Well done, Gigi Ruff. That frontside three was sick anyway. That'll make an amazing still frame if anyone can pull that one out. So Sammy, still in the lead.
Sammy
Fourth
still in the lead,
place.
and he has the chance. There's one more rider who can push him off the current Bechteros lead, and also current Freeride World Tour Champion title. He would actually take it 3 times in a row. You have to know he is double Freeride World Tour Champion of the last 2 years, Sammy Lipke.
Yeah, as we said earlier, Sammy can only become Freeride World Tour Champion if Gigi was not second place, which as it looks now, he's clearly not, he's in 4th, or Thomas Furstein is not in second place. So Thomas has really got to either put down a solid run and try and slot his way into second place for the overall, or go guns blazing and go for the win today. So a lot of pressure for him. Next up, Jonathan Penfield took the win in Kicking Horse earlier this year. A very solid rider. He's like a scientist, isn't he? Jonathan, he's a whiz.
He's a biochemist. You're right, and that's not the most obvious job as besides being a professional freerider. Jonathan Penfield on the Bechteros on course.
He knows his way around some enzymes, put it that way. Right, dropping skiers right.
The Truckee local, now resident of Squamish, Canada, going into the Nar of the top of the dogleg. Super exposed and steeped section of the Bechteros.
He's definitely keeping his flow. I mean, he's come out with a lot of speed and he's keeping it. Little drop at the top now, traversing on the heels, skiers left. Second little drop.
And again, you have to know this is the section. It's a no fall zone. Just now you could see all the peppers and the rocks underneath him in this beautiful angle of the Cineflex camera.
Slightly sketched out on his heels on one of those drops, so that may cost him, but decent sized cliff coming into there. Cheeky mute grab was that? No. Bounced out of the landing. Unfortunately couldn't keep his legs underneath him and hold the run out. So again, don't think this is going to challenge, well, definitely not going to challenge the top spot.
Now he has some bubbles in there, going for a big line, definitely, with a trick at the bottom.
Nice little backside 3 mute grab, thrown in there for good measure though.
But huge respect for Jonathan going for that line. You can see that he has already some experience on the back. I think it's his third or fourth time on the Bechteros. And I'm so happy to see them charge and step it up each year, because this line is a man's line.
He kind of looked like a man who, he dropped into the Beck then like a man who'd done it before. He looked relatively confident, and then he slightly sketched out on one of his landings, and that kind of cost him. And I think, oh, there's the mute grab.
The famous Gilles Voriol cliff, named after a famous freerider and one of the pioneers here of the Bechteros, Gilles Voriol. Unfortunately not with us anymore, but in his memory this cliff is named.
Jonathan Penfield, 5th place, 65.67. So again, not challenging the podium. Sammy is still at the top, with the main man coming up next, the current leader of the Freeride World Tour, Thomas Furstein, the only man who can potentially stop Sammy Lubke becoming world champion. So it's all on this run at the moment.
And have a look at the current standings. It's a 93.33 for the lead. Sami Lipke to beat. And it is Thomas Vorstein in the start gate. The local from Vorarlberg, Montafon. A very playful rider. Was happy to see him come on tour last year, his rookie year. And now he is gunning for the title. But it is a difficult one because Sami Lipke has a humongous score.
Well, he's got a massive job to do. I mean, the guy said it earlier in the pre-show. He hasn't actually won an event this year. He's just got very consistent second and third and podium spots. But he really needs to win today to secure this win. Oh, look, was that front side 180 into cab 180?
You're right. That proves his playful riding. But as we said before, he needs to step it up a little bit more, or Xavier pointed it out perfectly. He needs to also combine it with some big mountain riding, especially what we've seen of Sami Lipke previously.
I mean, doing some freestyle tricks at the top there, a frontside 180 into a half cab back to Goofy. It's got to impress the judges to do it that early in the run, but like you say, he needs to maybe backside 360. I mean, it's a very technical run so far, freestyle-wise, so maybe if he can charge it towards the bottom, throw in a decent-sized cliff, it could be enough to knock Sami off the top. Frontside 360.
Another one.
This is really going to come down to the judges, isn't it? Whether they see this as a way more impressive run. At the moment, I can't call it, you know. And a little indie tailbone. It's a solid run all round. You've got to say, that was...
He will definitely be pleased. It's exactly the style of Thomas Vorstein. And it's going to be exciting. That's the top part.
Just kind of a little front side 180 onto a pillow and then off.
You're right.
Half cab off. And then this was the backside 360.
Nearly got caught up on the entry on that. And then a beautiful end section. That was the biggest cliff he's dropped at the very end of his run. I am not very sure if it's going to challenge the top position. He definitely had a lot of air and style in there. I think it was 2 3s and 180 to cap 180.
The thing is, if you're Thomas Vorstein and you come to the Bec de Ros and you go, in my run, I land a backside 3, a frontside 3, a clean indie grab off a cliff. You've got to think you're taking the win. It really comes down to judges going, is that more... Fourth place for that. I am absolutely blown away. I'm blown away by that.
It is because of the sizes and the terrain he was riding in. 78 points.
All right, well, let's get a word with Thomas at the bottom, talking to Ed Lee.
Thomas, the run you wanted to land there, plenty of playful tricks up at the top.
Yeah, there were some playful tricks. I just went a little bit too mellow, so next time I know it, more speed.
Second time on the Bec, you've gained a lot of experience. Do you think that's the critical part of riding this mountain?
Yeah, the last time I rode the Bec, I completely rode on the other side, so this is actually my first time riding the Gros Bec, the big one. And yeah, I'm stoked that I made it. And yeah.
Second place on the tour overall, I think, with that fourth place.
Oh, really? Cool. I thought that. So, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm super stoked. Second season, second place overall. But yeah, I'm happy.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
That's great to hear Thomas happy, because he should be. What a great season he had. Podium nearly in every event, and now with a beautiful run at the Bec de Ros for the finals.
We have got one more man in the start gate, Mr. Blake Ham, the American. First time ever at the Bec de Ros. He was he's a rookie this year on the tour. And he's the only man that could really ruin Sami Lipke's party.
You are right. It is a big task to do, I have to say, in his rookie year, his first time on the Bec de Ros, to beat a humongous score, as I said before, of Sami Lipke. One of the best lines probably ever been done on the Bec de Ros of a snowboarder. And hard to beat that. But Blake has surprised us before, and he's going over to the Lucas left side of the Bec de Ros.
He's already got a third place this year from Kicking Horse, so I'm sure he would be absolutely over the moon if he could get a spot on the podium today.
Beautiful entry into the chicken bowl, it's called. Getting some spray.
Oh, he gets a proper spray in the face.
Spraying the starters and the photographers.
That's what you get for standing there, guys. What were you thinking?
I would not be surprised if Jono was standing right there.
Maybe, maybe. Jono, our cameraman friend, who's a bit of a riding buddy of Blake. Okay, so looking pretty in control. He's got to be happy with the start of the run. Maybe he's going to open it up and look for a few bigger drops now.
You can see it's tricky there because the wind is going uphill, meaning you get your spray that you're pushing downwards back up in your face. Hard to...
Picking a nice little line through that. Oh, hold it, Blake! Hold it, mate! There you go. It's the speed that you suddenly pick up. The steepness is just insane. So as soon as you land off any cliff, you're flying out on your tail and everything in your legs is saying just give up, but you've just got to hold on.
He's coming to the bottom section of his run. Another beautiful pow drop. You can see the deep pow at the very end. We had some great snowfalls over the last couple of weeks, actually,
Lovely
and another one yesterday.
Cracking little backside shifty off that little nugget of a rock at the bottom. I think he's going to be really happy with that. Where that will put him, I'm not sure. I mean, it had a kind of decent flow to it. He looked in control, barring the middle section when he had a bit of a tail wheelie out of one of his drops.
Have a look how steep that section is there. Getting out of the doglegs top section into the chicken bowl. Here the section of the wind, as mentioned.
I think this is the one where he just kind of picked a cheeky line there, finding the nice landing pocket and then catching that speed. He did say last night if he's happy with his run, he will do a bow to camera at the bottom.
Oh,
there it is! Oh,
here
right
it
on
is.
cue. He's a happy man. He's a happy man.
He should be. What a happy
Good
camper.
on you, Blake.
And it's so good to have him back next year on tour. What
Fifth place.
A great character.
Okay, 77 points, 5th place for Blake. And you know what that means. Let's look at the final standings from today. Sami Lubke in 1st place with a whopping 93.33. That is one of the greatest runs we've ever seen on the Bechteros from a snowboarder. Elias Eldhart, who dropped in 1st with an 87.67, and Davy Baird in 3rd place with an 84.33. Thomas Furstein, unfortunate not to make it onto the podium with a very technical run, including 2 360s, but that's the way it goes. It was all about charging today, wasn't it?
It was. We had two kind of different approaches, one for more the freestyle side and one more of the big mountain orientated ones. We saw 3 lines down into the central couloir and hitting the Gilles Verbier cliff, which is one of the most gnarliest positions on the back, and some more freestyle lines like Giruv, Elias Eldhart and Thomas Feuerstein.
And there is the final rankings of the season. Sami Lubke is your Freeride World Tour Champion 2018. Coming from 4th place at the start of today. That is absolutely unbelievable, but well deserved.
And doing a 3-peat. He's 3-time Freeride World Tour Champion over the last 3 years. Chapeau to Sami Lubke.
He's literally made to ride the Beck, isn't he, that man?
He is. He had to get into it. He has already, I think, 5 or 6 appearances on the back, and Xavier Delarue explained it perfectly. He is the man today because he has the most experience and he wants to leave a legacy on this mountain.
Okay, well, I believe our man at the bottom, Edley, is with our new Freeride World Tour Snowboard men's champion, Sami Lubke.
Yeah, here he is, Sami. 3 in a row. What does that mean to you?
It's amazing. I never thought I'd be standing here today. Waited till the very end to do the only possible scenario to win it, and somehow worked out in my favor.
Year after year, you've stepped up your game here. It felt like you've kind of paid homage to some of the greats who've won here on snowboards over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the final stop. Like, you know, I was in a position to kind of had to go for it, and I didn't want to come down a line. I had been down previous years, been over in Dogleg like 4 times, so it's time to step to the central couloir. Found a line I wanted, and yeah, I mean, people like Zav before me and Clausen putting it down on these crazy lines. I think it was time to get over into some big stuff.
Well, I think Xavier's reaction when you got to the bottom here said it all. He was very, very proud and very inspired. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Sami Lubke, the 3-time Freeride World Tour overall champion, and he's wrapped it up here in Verbier. We'll be back with all of the action from the men's ski finals after this short break. Welcome back to the foot of the Bec des Rosses. What a snowboard competition. Sami Lubke, you called it at the very beginning, but he delivered in excellent style, didn't he?
Yes, he's been going into the central. He's been going into the real deal, and he's gone through that technical section at the top with speed, and when I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's in there, he's got this. And it's so cool because like this is a big progression again from last year. He just keeps on growing up, and he's got his 3rd title in a row.
Woo. Well, we talked about it a little bit before. You see that really playful style from Thomas Fierstein and from Gigi Ruff. Elias Elhart kind of straddling them a little bit, but Sami's line so fast. You said it, you wanted to see some big turns, and that's exactly what he delivered.
Yeah, that face, you know, has a lot of potential for that. And, you know, as much as you can do tricks, you know, if in between you're slow, it's like Thomas did kind of, it's going to miss something, you know. You need to have the speed that fits with the size, the grandiosity of this face, yeah.
Well, that line delivers Sami Lubke not just the overall title, but also the overall Verbier title. So he's done the double again here on the Bec des Rosses. We're now going back over to our commentators, Adam Gendel and Martin Winkler, for the ski finals.
Thank you, boys. All right, let's have a look at the overall ski rankings before we get into the action. As the boys explained earlier at the start of the show, Christopher Turdell is already overall world champion, so that is a safe position for him. There we go, Christopher Turdell on 7,870 points. Now, the interesting thing that everyone down to 9th position could also make it onto the podium today. So that's, I mean, it's kind of anyone's for the win today, isn't it, Marty?
It is anyone's for the win, and we're going to have a quick look at the start list here. Griffin Muller opens it up, the rookie, with Mikael Bambo second, Sam Lee, Berkeley Peterson. And now we're going to have a look at the contenders of...
Okay, first rider is dropping in. Griffin Muller from the USA, a rookie this year.
He's opening up. Griffin Muller on course, the rookie from US of A. Unfortunately, you can see already that there is a little more shade. There is not as much sun on the face anymore as we've seen in the snowboarding category.
Going quite far skiers left, isn't he, into quite an exposed area.
One of the most exposed and technical areas. That's why he's taking it easy for the terms of a Freeride World Tour contender.
Well, his first time here, he's a young guy, he's got less experience than a lot of the other guys, so your first time on the Beck, I'd say you want to go in quite hesitantly in that area. I mean, look at the exposure below him there.
You should. If you ragdoll here, you're going to go for a ride of 600 meters.
Let's not give him the commentator's curse. Come on, Griffin, you got this, dude. Looking pretty in control.
Nice
Hopefully
work.
that drone's not putting him off flying along.
A lot of slough that you cannot see that much.
Look at how steep it looks from that angle. You can really see it there from the drone footage. Here we go. Now we can open it up a little bit more down this chute.
Snow is trickier to ride than they were expecting. There has been a lot of wind yesterday with the snowfall, so unfortunately it has affected especially that central couloir. He's going for the big Hollywood cliff.
Boom! Yes, Griffin!
Beautiful stomp there.
Laying down, putting his flag in the sand, or in the snow, should I say, more likely. Very good, solid start to the men's ski competition from Griffin, but he's not down yet. He's still got a ways to go. And another decent start. He's out backflip! Oh!
Just short! Oh, under-rotated the backflip of the big cliff at the bottom. Is he okay?
He just didn't seem to get the pop, did he?
He has a wave. The wave is an indication that he is okay. Probably just fully bummed not to stick that big backflip at the bottom.
Let's see that again.
Look
Here
at
we
that
go.
one.
How do you do a laid out backflip off that downhill landing? Absolutely zero pop, but he went for it. That was
he probably
sick.
thought he's going to have more airtime the way he pulled it off. Otherwise, because he can stick backflips in any terrain. I must say the cliffs are not as big as in previous years because we have such a great snowpack.
Well, that's it. Going back to the snow conditions, it's. I mean, they said earlier it's the best the Beck has looked in years for, but it does make a lot of the cliffs smaller than you. Well, than they have been in previous
smaller
years.
here is relatively spoken, of course, guys out there. They're still huge, but I must say, and luckily, especially the landings are a little bit clearer than in previous years. Not as much sharks ready to bite you.
Okay, while Griffin is retrieving his skis, he's fine by the looks of it. He did give the wave of "I'm all right." While he's doing that, let's have a quick look at a VT to explain some of the contenders in the men's ski competition today. Okay, so as you can see, Christopher Turdell is already world champion, which in a way is kind of exciting for him. Obviously, he's the champ, but today it means everyone's got nothing to lose. They can leave it and go for the win at the Xtreme Verbier, which is one of the most sought-after titles in the world of skiing.
You are spot on, Gendel. That is exactly right. We have the Bec de Ros title, which is in its 23rd year. And you actually, if you want to call yourself a legend in freeride sport, you have to have a title under your belt.
You want it on your Facebook page, don't you? Really, when you scroll down, you want that one there because that's going to get you a few beers in the any Verbier pub. But yeah, I mean, points-wise, down to 10th place on our start list. Anyone in the top 10 could potentially end up on the podium in the overall ranking. So there is something to play for about getting on the podium in the overall title, but for me, I think the Xtreme Verbier is such a massive event. Just to win that alone is going to mean that a lot of the guys today are just going to go crazy just to try and win that title.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing for the riders. You're right. Unfortunately, as you can see, the visuals on screen, they are not looking promising. What do you say, Gendel?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's starting to get a little bit milky up there. Obviously, you need as much definition and as much light as you can to kind of pick your way down this mountain. It's not ideal to go down in flat light conditions, so we're getting a bit of cloud coming in. But hopefully, if we can keep the pace up. I believe Griffin's just going over the finish line now, so he's down, and the next skier is in the start gate, who will be Michael Bimbos from France.
Yeah, unfortunately the light is deteriorating slightly, and the contours and contrasts are fading away, which are crucial if you're riding in such exposed and gnarly terrain.
Michael Bimbos, though, coming off a win in the last event in Fieberbrunn, who did the most insane gap of doom, didn't he, on the last run, which you can check out on the freerideworldtour.com website. Check out his run. He kind of jumped a gap where if he came short, he'd be flying into a wall, basically. So, you know, it's a skier that doesn't hold back on any terrain. If anyone's going to come out the blocks quick, it's this man. So here he goes, Michael Bimbos.
Here we get him into a very exposed section, the entry on the skier's left side of the venue. He's going further to the skier's left, and that could be one of the first riders that Xavier Delerue in the pre-show already talked about. There is his famous cliff that he opened up in 2010, the Xavier Delerue cliff, and he's approaching it. Big cliff drop from Michael Bimbos, sticking it clean.
Caught that landing so well then.
With this kind of light, that is everything but easy.
That is unbelievably brave, and now check out the line he's going. He's not holding back. Putting a few nice big turns in and heading towards this next cliff. Off the nose of it. Beautifully pointing it through. Oh, there's another little drop at the bottom there. Well, considering the light has got pretty bad, that is an unbelievable run.
Yeah, and he's happy. You can see that. The adrenaline is pumping. What a combination. Getting into the Xavier Delerue cliff, you have to note that even the entry into that one is so steep and exposed. And then finishing things up with a big cliff drop at the bottom. We haven't named that yet. It has been skied for the last 5-6 years by Aurélien, René, Christopher, and here we have the indications of the judges, of the head judge.
They were liking that. The fluidity was high, the control was high. I mean, it's a very solid run, and ironically the sun comes out the moment he gets down to the bottom. First place, Michael Bimbos, only their second riders to go, but 89.67. That is still a very solid score and the one to beat. So hopefully if we can keep this thing flowing, get someone else down while the sun's still out. We are in a bit of a race against time. The weather window is apparently closing, so let's keep this thing flowing. Obviously, when the light comes in and it gets a bit flat, it's very hard to see all the contours of the slope, and you're basically almost going down something that steep blind. So it's very important that we try and get these guys down here when there's a bit of sun and a bit of light, just purely because of the safety factor.
And here we have the next rider in the start gate, Sam Lee out of New Zealand. And he is famous for his Ibex lines. Very technical, very exposed usually, and that's also his nickname.
Cracking scream at the top then. He sounds quite excited by it. He looks like he's going to have a little bit of light, so hopefully he'll charge this while he can.
And with having some light, this is of course relative. There is usually not even, only a few little bits are in actual light on the Bec des Roses, but you need the sunlight on the counterface to reflect on the Bec des Roses to at least have some contours. So it's of course a very steep northeast face mountain. Very little sun in there at this time of the year, but you need the sun on the opposite face to actually have some contours.
You could see from that last drone shot, and that one as well, it's very hard to see much definition at the moment. It is very flat. But Sam Lee still scoping out his line. He'll have a very clear indication. These guys have been checking the face for the last few days, coming up every day when there has been a bit of light to kind of check the snow conditions, check the size of the cliffs. They've also had advice from the guides.
Look at the steepness of the mountain. And do you see the smoke in the air? He has no visibility, not only because of the flat light, but there has been a lot of wind picking up. And you can see even the cliffs are grayed out.
I wonder if he's even where he was
probably
meant to
his
be.
own slough that is being dragged up by the wind again. he has no chance to see anything. That's why he is so slow in there, and he should be, because this is the most exposed section there.
Well, the most important thing on the Freeride World Tour is safety, so obviously if you can't see, you can't exactly charge it, so a little bit oh, there, clipped his nose to his skis there, but he styled that out, didn't he? Just forward
This is
rolled
so
and kept going.
there. And
He's going clear. Go on, Sam.
He has nerves of steel, just going head over heels a few seconds before, and then he just goes for a big
It
cliff
was
drop.
almost like he did a forward roll and went, oh, there's a cliff, I'm off that. And then stomped it. That was amazing.
Sam, you legend.
Well, he looks like he's going to make it down in one piece. I shouldn't curse him. Lovely little drop, stomps that one clean and flying out. Well done, Sam Lee.
Giving us and himself a big heartbeat, because that tumble on top there could have had bad consequences, but he played it like a boss.
You've got to feel for him a little bit. It was very unfortunate timing that the location where he went towards the top of the face, the fog just kind of surrounded him for that moment, and maybe he lost his way a little bit.
Yeah, it was not too much the fog, it was really the snow that was being picked up by the wind. And it seemed like fog, you're right.
Well, there's
Look,
the forward roll, just like, that was fine.
And it's crucial to get back on your feet straight away, not only to have that cliff drop in your line, but he is got it for sure.
He literally bounced off his backpack.
Luck.
Second place, Sam Lee, 65 points. I mean, apart from the forward roll,
and if he
didn't really fall, so I'd class that as just, that was like a style trick that he threw in there.
I would love to have you on the judging panel.
Well, yeah, don't listen to me, Jippies. I'd let him off for that.
Here, look at the beautiful image of the helicopter camera. And we have another rookie in the start gate. Berkeley Patterson, a young gun out of the US of A.
Someone in the same mould as Griffin Muller. A young gun, rookie, loves his freestyle, loves his backcountry skiing. New on the tour, very excited to be riding the Beck for the first time.
And he showed that he can charge hard and fast and still do some tricks. Just check out his Instagram account. You see plenty of evidence of that. And going for a 360, big time!
Massive!
Sending it down!
Okay, a 360 that high up, that is a lot of risk. That's a tricky, a tricky area to do a trick that big, that early on.
And he was inspired by Ian Bergeson. I hope he's watching, because he opened that big cliff on top with a 360 years ago. And Berkeley was inspired by that, repeating that one, sending it even deeper.
He's not done yet. The adrenaline must be absolutely flying through his veins right now that he's put that down. Another little cliff, landing that very nicely into that pocket. This is
I still can't believe it, how far he sent it down. I'm so looking forward to the slow motion. But he's not done yet. He's going for a big one at the bottom.
Oh my goodness. What a run from the rookie! His hands up already, the fist to the sky. So a massive 360 at the top of the face, followed by a whopper cliff at the bottom and flying out at full speed, and a little popping shifty there at the bottom.
The only thing I could say is it's not super clean. Here we have the landing. Yes, just touching.
Yeah, you've got to let him off with that.
Of course, but that's what the judges are looking for. They have to, because the level is so high. But look at the air and style segment. It's all the way to the max.
The roof. Well, so it should be. That was insane. Well, hopefully they're not going to mark him down too much for the for popping his back down, a little back slap there. But considering where it was and how big he went. Second place, Berkeley Patterson. All right, 80 points.
Getting a big hug of his best friend, Griffin Muller.
Not quite enough to take the top spot, but I reckon he'll still be over the moon with that.
First of all, what a line, and still what a score for Berkeley for his opening of the Bec de Ros.
Okay, Mikael Bimbo still in first place with that 89.67. He is the man to beat. Berkeley Patterson in second with the 80, and Sam Lee in third with his 65 points. And it's heating up. That was, I wasn't expecting that from Berkeley. I know he had it in his locker, but you know, first time on the Beck, you don't really expect to see that kind of a trick thrown down that early. So from a young buck, we're moving on to one of the most experienced skiers to ever have ridden the Beck. Rene Barker-Red in the start gate.
And here, just give you the stats. 3-time winner on the Bec de Ros and 3-time second place, which is nearly equivalent to a win because the level is through the roof over the last years. And he claimed it 3 times, one of his best mates and also former competitors. Aurélien Ducrot has 4 on his list under his belt, and he's all or nothing going for another title on the Bec de Ros.
Okay, as you can see from the graphic on the screen, the contest is on a weather hold for the moment, so for now we will throw back down to Edley and Xavier Delarue.
All right.
Welcome back down to the finisher area here where the atmosphere is on fire. A couple of different people we've had through the gate so far, but undoubtedly the most impressive, Michael Bimbos.
Yeah, Michael Bimbos, he's finally coming my way, like on my cliff. It kind of feels weird. It's really nice to see him stomp it and get his reaction. He's like, yes.
It's incredible, isn't it, when you watch the first couple of skiers come down, how differently they use the mountain.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, skiing is a lot more about speed and big turns and things like this. And, well, some years, you know, in the snowboarding, you don't necessarily have the good snow that allows all the snowboarders to express themselves. But this year, I was so proud of them. Like, all of them ripped. The snow was perfect conditions for snowboarding, and there was not a single bad run.
Okay, well, we talked about it earlier on, and you've heard both Gendel and Winkler talking about it. The men's ski field, even though the world title is done, Christopher Turdell took that at the end of the Freeride event. There is still the very important matter of deciding the Verbier Xtreme title and, of course, 2nd and 3rd place overall on the tour. These are the men in contention for those spots.
It's a pretty good feeling to stand here. Verbier already being the world champion. At the prize giving ceremony, they surprised me. They calculated that I already had enough points to claim the world title. It was such a relief working for something for 3 years and achieving it is a really good feeling. You really need to stay consistent and have 4 good results, and I managed to do this in the first 4 comps this year, so that was definitely the key. I was looking forward a lot to come here to Verbier and ski the comp without the pressure of the overall ranking, but I guess I'll have to come back next year. Skiing Bec de Ros, you will definitely have to be at your limit and focus on what you've been seeing from down below, so you absolutely don't get lost and just trying to be at your very best and don't do mistakes. Being here watching the other guys ski is going to be a lot of fun too. I really like Jan Rouse's style of skiing, and Marcus Eder has some amazing tricks that he's able to throw in there, so it's going to be super exciting to watch them.
Christopher already took it home, so there is no title race, but there is still quite a race. Winning here and being 2nd overall, that would be still a big win.
It's really huge for me to win Xtreme. It's like Olympics. I have an advantage because it's my 5th year on the tour, but we never know what's happened on the Bec.
First time I've seen Bec de Ros live. Right now it's just not very welcoming. It's not 100% my skiing style. I like to keep it playful, but I hope I find something here where I can still do my thing. I don't know what we're gonna see actually. Definitely big airs, big tricks, maybe more than 1 trick in a line.
The Bec is the Bec, and it's the Bec to decide, not the judge sometimes.
Well, we're back here now with the reigning world champion, Christopher Turdell, first man ever to take out the title before Verbier.
Yep, that feels pretty good actually.
Right, most importantly, why aren't you skiing today?
I managed to hurt my leg right after the last comp in Freeride, so I'm not able to ski. Even though it looks so good, I would like to really do this comp, but I have to come back next year.
Give me an overview of it, because traditionally the men's skiing category is the most competitive. everyone is sending it on every run, so it's impossible to be consistent. But somehow you managed to, it looked like, ski at the limit of your ability and remain consistent.
Yeah, I think like you have to have some consistency, but it's all about risk management. You have to know, or at least somehow know a little bit about your own limit and try to ski as close to it as possible, but still stay consistent and put down good runs all the time.
It always looks as if your most valuable asset is your ability to land massive cliffs at incredible speeds.
Yeah, I would say that's a good thing to do if you want a good score, and it's getting to more freestyle tricks as well, so even now and in the future you have to do that too.
Is there a small part of you sat down here at the bottom that's enjoying not having to ski the Beck today?
Yeah, try to imagine how the guys standing up there feel right now. They're super nervous, the visibility is a bit on and off, and they're probably gonna be able to run it again soon, but they're really nervous, but at the same time that's what I mean. You want to push yourself.
Well, someone's just told me in my ear that they are ready to start running this now, so we're going to hand you back to Adam Gendel and Martin Winkler.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, so we've got René Barkeret, the crazy Swede, the mayor of Stomptown, in the start gate. But before we unleash him down the Beck, let's have a quick look at the current top 3 ranking. Oh, René's off. René Barkeret, he's off. He's not been held back at all. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. The mayor of Stomptown on course. And he's not named by that for nothing.
Loves a big cliff, loves a fast line. He's got thighs like tree trunks. He can withstand any landing. I shouldn't be saying this, it's going to curse him, but we're all behind you, René.
And I would say, just like Hugo Harrison redefined how to stomp a cliff, he did that and continued the legacy of Hugo Harrison. And yeah, he invented a new technique of stomping cliffs.
Okay, so he's into that chute. Quite quickly found his way in there as well.
Yeah, and it's tricky. Visibility's very low. He has been in there for several times in the past years, but this is probably one of the most trickiest ones yet.
Okay, now we can see that Swedish speed coming out. A little traverse to the left to find his cliff line.
Over the Hollywood cliff, stomping it clean. He has that perfect technique to slide his skis just a little bit forward and reduce the pressure. He's going into a new zone. Looks like will he open up a new cliff? Oh, it's the double of 2009.
Oh, beautiful!
Oh yes, what a combination.
Well, where does that compare to Mikael Bimbo's line? How do you split the two there? Come on, this is why you're the expert, McFly.
It's gonna be a tough one, and I actually
you don't know, do you?
No, I don't know, but I think it's definitely going to be a close one. And I have, I just give it a call. I have Mikael Bimbo's still in the lead, but that was a massive run from Mr. René Barkeret.
Well, that's a slight gauge of how the judges are looking. Technique very high, air and style pretty high. After that double line, fluidity was very strong as well. But it's all about that score. Let's wait for that, see if he can pit Mikael Bimbo's to the top spot. It will be tight, I'm sure. Second place, no, it's not enough, 85 points. He slots himself into second place, and Mikael Bimbo stays securely on that top spot. As we said earlier, we're racing the weather, so there's the top spot. Mikael Bimbo's 89.67. It's a very high score. It's going to be tough to beat that. René Barkeret in second, and Berkeley Patterson, the young rookie, in third place with 80 points. Next in the start gate, currently second in the overall rankings. Tell us a bit about this guy, Marcus Eder.
Marcus Eder on course, and he is, with his young age, already a legend of the sport. Coming from freestyle, getting into backcountry freestyle, and now big mountain riding. He has been filming with Matchstick Productions, a major ski film production out of the US of A, for 5 years, and producing some amazing segments every year. And now he's back on the Freeride World Tour.
So what would you say Marcus Eder has got to do in this run if he wants to get in that #1 spot? Has he got to look to his freestyle skills and throw a few tricks in there, or has he got to go full big mountain, big line, lot of speed, and a few big drops?
I think both can work. He has it both dialed in. Look at the technical section he's going into. This is so steep. And he has the tricks in his bag. Like, he has butter 7s, you know, off cliffs. And if we see some of that, of that excellence of tricks, of big cliffs of him, he has a chance to go for the big title of today.
That was a mega line traversing into the next chute.
Already a shifty over that beautiful side hit of the Hollywood. And here we have 360 on that section.
There it is, showing a bit of a freestyle.
Look, he's lining up.
Oh, the butter!
Butter 3!
Oh! He's claiming it already! What, I mean, the technical skill to butter off a cliff like that is insane, isn't it? Talk us through. I mean, we don't see that normally on the Freeride World Tour, do we? That is a bit of a new one.
This is the first time I've ever seen a butter 3 off a cliff. And he cannot believe it himself because it's so technical. It's the first try. It's the visual inspection from the opposite side of the mountain. Look, the other guys can't believe it too. And the steepness of the riding on top of there.
Well, look at the graphic, air and style through the roof.
That is what it takes to take the win today. And I'm just looking forward to the score. Look at the air and style and technique.
There's the 360.
The 360 opening it up.
He can't believe it. When he landed the butter 360, his arms went instantly in the air celebration, and then on the run out went to, I can't believe I just did that, and now he looks like a man in shock. So if that's not first place, I will eat my hat. Mikael Bimbo's the first man to celebrate, well, to congratulate him on the finish line as well.
Of course, my job is also to pick things apart, and
thank you, Beck.
The 360 landing was not the cleanest.
Yeah,
but at the butter 3, what a move.
Second place, it's not enough.
Oh my God, how close.
87.67. Well, let's have a look at the replay.
Look, this is the butter 7. Here we have him. Sorry, butter 3. Sticked a little Duffy in the air.
He was
not on purpose, though.
He was so stoked. He literally landed, and half a second later his arms were in the air. But still, not enough. The judges, again, like the snowboard competition, are rewarding a fast line, a steep line, bigger drops, more than freestyle tricks being thrown in there.
Just look at the points at the end. That's just a blink of a second, or blink of an eye.
No time to recap, because Loic Cologne Paton from France is already on his way down the back, going skiers right.
2 times Freeride World Tour champion, 2014 and 16. Coming in hot with a backflip off the Verbier cliff on top. Opening it up just like a world champ should do.
He landed that like it was nothing.
And he has, again, big mountain skills and freestyle skills in persona.
Absolutely flying out of that. Well, when you land a backflip that high, you're going to be pretty pumped and ready to kind of unleash the fury down the lower part. Cheeky little cliff there. Absolutely gunning it.
And he knows he needs a lot to take the lead at this stage.
Found another cliff, 360. Oh no! Oh, hold on!
Getting hooked up. Actually, the same 360 of the same cliff of the 2014 run when he became Freeride World Tour champion. Unfortunately, such a mistake in his run with the level we have on our hands today will mean he's not getting anywhere near the podium today.
Well, the runs have been so strong so far that a little mistake is costing you, but a big mistake like that is definitely going to knock you down the pecking order. It's such a shame when he did that backflip, which was an absolute banger at the top, landed it perfectly.
You're right.
Nice cliff there, and it was just the landing of the 360 that caught him and will cost him that position on the podium. There you go, control the one down in the negative zone. Because of that landing, he landed on one ski and kind of flapped the other leg around, which is a shame for Loic because it was looking very good. He's happy, his arms are in the air.
Exactly, especially His wife and baby girl are watching here in the audience, and they will be happy to have him safe down, and he has a big smile even though he had this issue in the landing of the 360, unfortunately putting him into 6th position currently with 60 points.
Okay, so Mikael Bimbo still in the top spot, and he was our second man down. Marcus Eder with that unbelievable run, combining his freestyle skills and free ride ability, and Rene Barkered in 3rd place. There's the judges there. I mean, as we said, this is a very subjective event. The judges are going to go with what they believe is stronger. It may not even be what we feel, because I was absolutely blown away by Marcus Eder's run, but they've decided to go more with the steeper line.
Next one on course, Leo Slemet. He put his name in the history books last year with a win in the overall. Freeride World Tour champion is under his belt. And he is one of the riders that did the whole career from Freeride Junior Tour to the qualifiers to the Freeride World Tour champion. And here he is, 2nd time on the central couloir. As I can see, he's heading into one of the gnarliest parts of the mountain.
The drone shots that we're getting this year, you can really see how steep it is, especially in that top section. It's absolutely unbelievable the way they've got to pick their way in there.
And the light is really deteriorating. Unfortunately, it's not ideal. Maybe you saw the reaction of Rene Barkered going in there as well. At the bottom, he said to his colleagues, he just couldn't see anything.
The light, obviously, massively important, just being able to see the contour of the slope. I mean, when you're coming down something as steep as that, when it's 40 degrees or more, and you don't see a lump in the snow which can knock you off your skis.
He went another 360 off that cliff from last year. This is so gnarly. Oh my God, Leo just pulled off a 360 again in the central couloir, heading to the Hollywood cliff. Clean landing there.
Very clean.
He knows what it takes to take top spot here at the Bec de Ros.
2nd place here last year, so he'll be absolutely gagging to get on the top spot if he can. And with difficult conditions, this is a very strong run for Leo. He's not done yet, though.
Another trick for him. Yes,
there's a backflip.
Oh! Sticking it!
Absolutely stomped it. And there's the arms up again. We've seen a bit of that today.
Oh, what a complete run. 360 on top of the very steep central couloir, taking the Hollywood cliff, and then finishing off with a backflip of the last one.
Was that a slight sketchy landing on the 360? It looked very controlled in the air. Okay, so why would you call that the complete run, McFly?
As mentioned, we had the 360 in a very exposed technical line. Then the cliff drop out of the Hollywood, everything beautifully in the fall line, and then finishing off with a banger, the backflip of a huge cliff.
The crowd pleaser.
It is a crowd pleaser, and it is perfectly executed to impress the judges.
Lines high, fluidity and control not so high, but air and style and technique are peaking. So, but you know, we thought Marcus could have topped the pack, and that never happened. So let's just wait for the all-important score before we get ahead of ourselves,
and
should we say.
Leo Slemet is riding, obviously, for
Look at the
Estelle
judges.
Ballet.
Look at the judges, they're deliberating in their matching orange jackets. 3rd place.
Just 1 point behind Marcus Eder, and 3 points behind the leader, Mikael Bimbos.
Okay.
Mikael Bimbos chose a little further to the skiers left, actually a cliff that we haven't seen in years that has been dropped today. Mikael Bimbos repeated the cliff of Xavier Delarue from 2010. Maybe that made the big difference today.
Okay, Mikael Bimbo still in top spot. Marcus Eder in 2nd place. And that run from Leo Slemet slotted him onto the 3rd spot on the podium. So next up we've got an absolute local hero, Jan Rausis.
He was a rookie last year, and he walked away with the Rookie of the Year title. Well deserved. Such a consistent and such skilled rider. He has tricks in his bag. He has big mountain and huge balls.
All right, it's more than we needed to know, McFly. But I know what you're saying. He's a brave man, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And Jan is going to want to impress all his hometown fans, I'm sure. So he's gone pretty far, skiers right. Lovely drop. That was a decent-sized cliff.
And look how easy he made it look like. He really has a similar style to the Freeride World Tour champion Christopher Tourdel, who is unfortunately not riding today due to an injury. But Jan Rossis, he has a similar style, and going into another big drop.
What a line! Holy goodness! I did not see that coming. That was huge. He kind of almost went cross-court into that little pocket.
That was one of the biggest drops I've ever seen on the Bec de Ros, and I have to say that quietly because I'm blown away. Wow!
I can see it in your face, McFly. That was massive. We didn't expect that. I mean, we knew he'd try and impress his hometown fans, but yeah.
And I call it again. This was the opening. This is the Jan Rossis cliff to me. I have to clarify with some legends of the sport of the Bec de Ros, but this has never been aired.
Look at that line.
Oh, and
did he knee himself in the face a little bit? I think he did on the impact of the landing. That's how deep he went. Well, he might have a little black eye to show for it, but let's see what his score is saying.
With your young age, you make yourself a name on the Bec de Ros, you local ripper.
Okay, so the line, very high peaking, fluidity's peaking, control very high, air and style and technique slightly lower. So really, I'm not sure what the score's going to be for this one. It's been very hard to tell. The last few times we thought they may have knocked Mikel Bimbos off the top. It hasn't happened. There he is, sat in his fluffy throne, still on the top spot, the Frenchman. The hot seat, basically, where Mikel is sat, is the current leader of the competition, so unless someone knocks him off, he's going to have that comfy seat until the end of the day. The judges are...
And you know what? I cannot even remember the bottom part of Jan's run because I was so blown away by that middle, that huge cliff drop.
I think he basically just rode away feeling very happy with himself.
Maybe. And, if he missed the bottom part to put some more action on it, I think it's going to be hard to kick off Mikel Bimbos off the hot seat. But if he had another section, and I think they are discussing the top spot, it could be, because they take their time, they can.
Massive, massive cheer of respect from Mikel Bimbos. The camaraderie on tour is pretty special. He looks relieved. Fourth place for Jan Rossis. It's not enough to even get him in the top three. 86, I mean, the score's still very high. But it's very close in the top five at the moment with those points.
That cliff drop. You have to be so precise. Left and right are rocks where you land, and you're just sailing for miles in the air.
Let's have a quick recap. There it is, still Mikel Bimbos on the top spot, 89.67. It's going to be such a high score to beat, I think. Marcus Ada in second, 87.67. Leo Slemmer in third with 86.67. I don't know what someone's going to have to do to beat that score. Something pretty special.
Absolutely, and maybe we're going to see another one going into the same section as Mikel Bimbos did. And next one, already on course, Greg Murray out of New Zealand. The rookie that, let's say, he didn't surprise us because on the qualifiers he showed us his excellence of tricks and big mountain skills.
Massive. That was huge. Where did that come from? It was like a little kind of a cliff drop into that 360.
Yeah, he just proved my opening sentence to him. And
obviously doing big tricks like that, doing a 360 high, the risk factor for the rest of your line, you're laying it all out that early on when your legs are cold, your arms are cold, you've been waiting at the top of that mountain. It's a lot harder to get yourself mentally ready for that, so the judges obviously pay attention to that.
Oh my God, another 360 into a section we have not seen yet. We have opening lines one after the other, and you have to know he's 19 years of age. He is the youngest rookie, probably the youngest guy ever competed on the Bec de Ros.
He's not done yet.
And he's not done yet. He has even a winning line in his bags. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Well, is that going to be enough? I mean, two massive 360s, and they were massive. We're not talking about setup tricks or something just to tick a freestyle box, they were huge.
Whatever score you're gonna have, you can be so proud of yourself, Mr. Greg Murray. Oh my God, that middle 360 was humongous. Opening it up with this one, beautifully stomped, and now look at that.
The only thing that's slightly low is control when you look at the graphics. That
And
360
that's
was
one,
huge. It must just be those landings. There's a slight little bounce out of the landings. Mikael, again, straight over to congratulate him.
I call it, if he would have stuck that second 360 clean, it would have been a clear winning run for me today. But now this is in the hands of the judges.
It is.
What do they take of it?
Are they going to penalise him that harshly on that landing when it was so big?
In flat light.
So waiting on the judges, they might be deliberating. They'll have the abacuses out, working out these scores and counting it.
And he might even put his name in the history books by naming this cliff, because again, I didn't see anyone in the last 15 years going off that cliff.
I mean, for someone so young to spot that line is pretty rare. I mean, that would normally be more of an experienced skier's line, but I don't know even now how he spotted that in the first place. They're still deliberating, the judges. Come on, the weather's coming in, guys.
You are right, it is on the brink of losing the light. And Greg Murray, what a run we've just seen of you today.
What must be going through his head right now?
He is the future of our sport, you have to know.
Oh, he's the now.
He is the
Look at
now.
what he just did.
You're right.
The future is now, if that's what the future is. Flipping heck. Well, he's a very cool kid, Craig. He's the kind of guy that can make it. Second place, it's not enough, but he's absolutely, look at the smile on his face. 88.67, second place. He will be absolutely buzzing with that.
Oh,
and
a little cleaner landing, and he would have claimed, I tell you, it did. Yeah, I'm
Do you think that was it? It literally came down to that landing.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the ranking. Mikael Bimbo still in first place, 89.67. Craig Murray jumped straight into second, 88.67. And Marcus Ada in third, 87.67. Wow, what a competition this is turning out to be.
What a competition. And I tell you, it is 3 rookies on that mountain. They're not rookies as a rider, but Mikael Bimbos, Craig Murray, and Marcus Ada have never ridden the Back de Ross in competition before. And they're all on the podium. And they actually, Mikael Bimbos sticking to a classic high octane big mountain line. And the other two, Marcus Ada and also Greg Murray had their freestyle tricks in it combined with some big mountain.
Well, there it is.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
The Freeride World Tour overall ski ranking. Obviously, Christopher Turndall taking home the first place, which we knew already. Marcus Ada in second place. And Mikael Bimbos in third after that incredible performance today. I believe Ed Lee is at the bottom with our winner.
The man from the Three Valleys. You cleaned up in Fieberbrunn and then you've carried on that momentum here to Verbier. Phenomenal performance.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I can't believe it. It's amazing. Fuck yeah.
What happened? Why did you decide on the Delarue cliff?
I guess it was like the biggest one, and I like the steep part above, so I just wanted to ski well on steep, good snow, and jump big, so it was pretty much the only choice. Coming down on Raine's line last year at the bottom was a good choice, apparently. So,
well, congratulations, Mikael. You have won the most prestigious competition in freeriding. That is what it means to win the Verbier Xtreme. We're going to be back with all of the analysis of the men's ski finals after this break. Well, the snow was in perfect condition. The light may not have been quite so great for the skiers, but it didn't seem to affect them at all, Zav.
No, they were just bringing the level up and up again.
It was I thought it was a very difficult and challenging decision from the judges, because if you look at the top 4 or 5 even, there were very, very different runs.
Yeah, I find that every year, you know, you see new things happening, and this year I find that there's been an incredible combination of amazing tricks and speed and big cliffs, all that in the same run. It's not like that it was one freestyle run or one big mountain run. It was a mix of everything. So for the judges to being able to separate all these guys, it's so tough.
Well, we saw that whether it was Marcus Eder or Leo Slemick, kind of very technical into more freestyle options, but the judges went with the big mountain line. They went with Mikkel Bimbos, and he went for your cliff.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to see someone follow that. It was like 10 years ago now almost, and yeah, it's nice, and yeah, he got the win with this. Yeah.
Why does it score so highly? Is it just because the takeoff is so steep?
I think it's because it's a big cliff which is really high in the face, and that makes kind of a big difference between, because the commitment is very different. If you fall up there, you're gonna keep rolling. We saw it with a whatever his name, who followed me a few years ago. He got, I think, 40 or 60 tumbles after, so that's the difference. Whereas like if you crash on the Hollywood, you can still make it.
You can pull it back a little bit. Okay, well that is it for the men in ski and snowboard here on the Big Beck, but we're moving over to the women's Beck now. We're done on Red Bull TV, but you can watch the women's ski and snowboard on freerideworldtour.com live right now. Thank you for watching, Zav and I. It's been an absolute pleasure.